There are those who think we should engage in heated, over-the-top rhetoric when speaking about ISIL and terrorist groups like them.
If your definition of heated, over-the-top rhetoric is simply the truth, then yes, we should.
We see things in a different way.
Yes, we're all too well aware of the liberal government and media's way of seeing things, either by pretending they simply don't exist or trying to sweep it under the rug so nobody knows they exist.
ISIL would like us to see them as a credible threat to our way of life and to our civilization.
No, that is just simply what they are, period. They have proven this time and time again. Your refusal to acknowledge ISIS as a credible threat doesn't change that one bit, nor is ISIS losing sleep over it. In fact, ISIS probably prefers you not taking them seriously, as it makes it that much more easier to infiltrate and facilitate.
We know Canada is stronger, much stronger.
Just exactly what is it you think Canada has that the US, France, all of Europe, and even Russia don't?
Than the threat posed by a murderous gang of thugs who are terrorizing some of the most vulnerable people on Earth. Call us old-fashioned.
I would call you incompetent and full of yourself, unfit to run a Tim Hortons, let alone a country.
But we think that we ought to avoid doing precisely what our enemies want us to do.
But you are doing what they want you to do. This may be hard to believe, but ISIS doesn't want you to do airstrikes against them. Not only that, but they praised and claimed victory over Canada pulling out its jets.
They want us to elevate them, to give in to fear, to indulge in hatred, to eye one another with suspicion, and to take leave of our faculties.
Actually, it's much easier to commit terrorism when everyone's not looking over their shoulder.
The lethal enemy of barbarism isn't hatred, it's reason.
Reason waved bye-bye to you a long time ago.
And the people terrorized by ISIL every day don't need our vengeance. They need our help.
By helping them, I assume you mean to just bring them to Canada. Do I need to remind you on how well that worked out for Germany, or Sweden, or any of the other European countries that decided to take this approach?
The government of Canada's new policy on the fight against ISIL is grounded in this belief.
Given your global affairs team, that's hardly surprising.
We are for what will be effective, not for what will make us feel good to say at any given moment. Ultimately, ISIL stands against open and diverse societies where women and men of all faiths, all ethnicities, and all backgrounds are free to make of their lives what their capabilities, their work ethic, and their dreams will allow.
I can only assume from that arrogant, smug face you're about to say Canada. Are you such a clueless ideologue that you cannot see that not all cultures and laws are equal, that allowing dangerous minority opinions to become acceptable can and will have negative repercussions on society? This suicidal approach to this rainbow, doughy-eyed view of multiculturalism has backfired every time, and continues to backfire in more ways than just one. Every country that has adopted this ideological standpoint on multiculturalism has lived to regret it, and has ended up sacrificing their own citizens for this idealized fantasy of what reality should be. Thinking that if they silence any discord for the cause, don't talk about problems a certain culture or ideology may have in favor of the narrative, and sweep them all under the rug, everything will eventually all work out, and we'll all join hands in tolerance and sing Kumbaya. Actual reality, on the other hand, always plays out quite differently.
Societies like ours. Terrorists do not have the strength to defeat us.
You seriously fit the stereotype for one of those classical rich movie villains. All you're missing is the dastardly mustache.
So they seek to have us defeat ourselves.
That's your job.
We stand firm in the conviction that they will fail.
No, I think you had it right the first time, because your plan is ludicrous. It failed in Europe and it'll fail here too.
because we are much stronger and more durable than they could ever imagine. Canada.
Anyone else get the impulse to punch him in his smug face? Or is that just me?
Continues in its fight against ISIL, in the work we do as an important part of the coalition.
Well, not according to the coalition, you ain't. Honestly, Trudeau's denial of reality seems to be borderline straitjacket.
Against the so-called Islamic State.
And when they went to the Queen to tell her her subjects had no bread, do you know what she said?
Let them eat cake.